Hello, this is Iago Soto, the Chief Marketing Officer of Wobis. Today I'm responsible for this webinar. The topic is going to be transforming communication process in banks. Before starting, I would like just to, first take a look to the agenda that we're going to have today. We are going to split the webinar in three different parts. The first one is going to be called Secure and Flexible Internal Communications. In this part, we will try to take a look to the regulation in terms of data protection, in terms of call recordings, and how this new regulation is changing the internal tools of companies, the tools to communicate that you have in your banks, and so on, how you can integrate these tools with your existing assets. In the second part, we are going to move to customer care. In this case, we will try to focus on collaboration. Okay. By collaboration, we understand different things from screen sharing, co-browsing, chats, document sharing, form sharing, file transfer, different possibilities. First, we will take a look to similar to the first part, to the state of the art of the technology, and second, we will try to mention some of the use cases that are possible to enable using the current capacities. At the end, we will leave the last minutes for ID verification or fraud prevention. Here the idea is how using WebRTC, how using the technology, you can use video for some of the critical methods for the critical process of banks. We are using GoToWebinar today. You will probably have a tool to send questions. I have a screen here just to read the questions that you are sending in real time. So do not hesitate to send any question. I will try to answer all the questions as soon as I get them, or to leave just a couple of minutes at the end of the webinar. We have 30 minutes for this webinar. The webinar will be recorded and will be available in YouTube. You will probably receive today a link, an email with information, including the slides and the link to YouTube to check the contents of this webinar. So moving to the first part, as mentioned before, some of you joined during the last meetings. We have lots of people today. We have 103 people, and this is the third session that we had of this webinar. We had another one in English this morning in Europe, and also one in Spanish 1 hour ago. And the first section is going to be secure and flexible internal communications. So we are going to talk about how we can improve communications of the employees of a bank. First, taking a look to data protection. I'm not sure if all of you are familiar with this new regulation in Europe called GDPR. It's pretty popular here. In any case, I think that you have something similar in the case of the attendees that we have from the US. And in the case of Brazil, that are part of the audience that we have now in this session, I'm not completely sure which is the current regulation that you have there. In the case here is what this regulation is saying is that you as a company, you must keep a record of the permissions from all the people when you are storing personal information of these guys. And this is a problem, maybe if your employees are using WhatsApp for your employee communication. The problem is, let's imagine that you are using WhatsApp, you are sharing your the agenda of your device with WhatsApp, you are uploading your contact list, and WhatsApp is storing this information, is checking which of your contacts also are using WhatsApp, and so this is crazy because you should get an approval of all of your contacts in your agenda to upload this contact to WhatsApp. So this is just an example of the problem with the new regulation. WhatsApp, Telegram, any other cloud-based collaboration tool that is provided as a service is a threat. It's not does not comply with the new regulation. No? And this is also the same case because you need to provide the right to delete the information, something that you cannot provide. You cannot remove your personal data from WhatsApp in an easy way, and also to get or store all the information related with the communications. So this is the reason why it makes sense to replicate something similar to WhatsApp, but on premise, storing all the information on premise of the bank. Second is related with MiFID. Again, it's regulation in Spain, but I have included there some reference from other countries with similar regulation. The idea here is that it's mandatory to record everything, any type of conversation related with deals, business deals. So here, the problem is you need to recall voice calls, video calls, you need to store emails, faxes, but you also need to store chats. So you need a tool to store everything. And this is the point where a technology that we were using in the last 6 years, that is a technology that has been adopted by all the browsers from Chrome to Safari, this last one, is making possible to make real-time communication. So adding voice, adding video, to have a chat session, any type of collaboration from your browser with no need to install anything there. And this is important because it's the tool that we can use, it's the technology that we can use to create a new use case related with enterprise messaging. So for those of you who were familiar with WebRTC, well, you don't need to install anything there, works in a browser, but which is the current situation in terms of the browser adoption? And this has dramatically changed during the last months. Now Microsoft Edge, now Safari are supporting WebRTC. So the current situation that most of the browsers, most of the devices, most of the users have access to WebRTC using their browser by default. And this is something that is nice. Later, as you will receive the slides, you can click in this link and you can take a look to the current situation in terms of versions, which are the APIs of WebRTC that are currently supported, and which is the current situation of all the different processes. In terms of the approach, here what I was trying to explain is more or less explaining in these three icons. WebRTC is working in desktops, WebRTC is working in smartphones or any other device that owns a browser. We can have an Android web application, iOS web application using WebRTC. But also, it's also possible, in some scenarios, it's interesting again, to have native applications for Windows, for Mac, or for Linux. So the same application that you have here for the desktop, you can wrap this application using a framework and create a native application for different desktop environments. And finally, the last possibility is to use native applications for native or hybrid applications for smartphones. The same application that you have here for desktops, you can wrap this application using a framework like Cordova into an application for hybrid application for Android or iOS. But we're also supporting an SDK to create your own your native applications for Android and iOS. So basically, we are supporting all the devices. WebRTC is a good technology for this because the browser is abstracting part of the complexity. But if not, we are also providing an SDK that is abstracting the fragmentation that you have in terms of user devices. So as I was trying to introduce, what we can build here is more or less what you have in this slide. You can have, and using one of our products that is a unified communication suite called Chico Collaborator, we can adapt this tool into an enterprise messaging tool with the idea to remove WhatsApp or third-party solutions. And basically, it's the type of the solution, the type of use case that we can create using SIPO Collaborate. Again, as you can see in this slide, no need to worry about the type of device. It's going to work in your smartphone. It's going to work in your desktop. It's going to get the contact list, the agenda of your device in case it's needed. If not, you can't get the contact list. You can authenticate using the Active Directory of the company. It's secure by default. All the conversations are ciphered, so it's using secure communications for this SRTP, and it's easy to adopt. No? So it's a way to create an application for this. Taking a look to the application, here you can see a user interface that we have for a desktop, and here two user interfaces for smartphones. Here you see your local agenda or the agenda of contacts that you get from the Active Directory. We are also supporting presence. You can make voice calls, chat, video calls. Imagine that you are only using chat because for you it's critical to use chat. But in any case, for the chat, we are storing the chat. We are supporting groups. We are also supporting meetings. So you can schedule calls from the chat. You can exchange documents from the chat or whatever. So lots of functionalities, lots of features that are supported here. Any type of multimedia capability that you can imagine. Let me just stop here. Screen sharing, co-browsing, form sharing, in any case, collaboration. This is something that is being supported by default. Depending on the browser, depending on the device, screen sharing is supported or not, because as you can imagine, in the case of iOS, in the case of iPhones, it's not possible to share your screen from your browser with no need to install anything there. It's something that is not possible. But in any case, this type of collaboration tools are really interesting. Okay, you can navigate together. Employee A with employee B can navigate together through a website, can share screens in order to get technical support. And as we will see later, this is making possible to create new possibilities for customer care, not only for internal communications. Okay? So moving here to this slide here, basically we would like to introduce how we can integrate this. This is not an Iceland, okay? This is something that has been thought for enterprise integration. So the idea, imagine that you own a Cisco platform, it's your PBX. It's the PBX that you use for internal employees. But you like SIPO because it brings mobility, you don't need to install anything there, you are using SIPO because you want to defeat the challenge of being your own device. Different possibilities. It's possible to make a voice call from SIPO to Cisco. It's possible to make a voice call from Cisco to SIPO. And this is nice because it's easy to integrate, and we can federate presence, we can federate the chat, we can make voice or even video calls in case of it's been supported by your platform. It's very easy to make this type of integration. No? So one of the key advantages is trying to avoid vendor lock-in, so you don't need to worry about buying something, but it's not going to work with anything else. This is not the case. Another possibility is integration with your existing applications, but not, imagine, applications like ERPs or Salesforce, Gmail, Office 365, any type of web application. Okay, it's really easy, it's really fast to integrate WebRTC support there. So to make possible to have video calls, to make voice calls, to integrate a chat, your internal chat, okay, your group chat with your web applications. So it's really nice to explore this. Some guys are using this for Gmail in order to get incoming calls. You probably you have Cisco platform. You're going to receive the call in your Cisco phone. But imagine you are using Gmail in any type of device. You can get a notification of an incoming call in Gmail, and you can answer this call from Gmail. Okay. Similar to with Salesforce, probably you can use Salesforce to make a call from Salesforce and record this call and integrate the link to the recordings with the information that you have in Salesforce of this customer. So it's really easy and really nice to integrate this. In this slide, well, what I'm trying to introduce is that, well, it's possible to integrate this, well, something that more or less I was explaining before this, to get the contact list, to authenticate the users using Active Directories, using any other type of network address book. It's possible to integrate in case you have these access. Chat history, to store the chat history in your local repository. Remember, it's important to get to have control of these communications. Also, voice, video recordings to integrate this with your existing call recording system. And also, in case you have any type of solution, well, it could be an Active Directory, but in any case, you have any other option for managing user policies, like who has access to make a call from to a customer or whatever, is something that we can integrate with it. No? So we are in the API era, and now it's possible to manage this type of integration really fast. And finally, I would like to close this part just explaining that it's also possible to support multi-conferencing. Typically, MCUs, multi-conferencing units, were really expensive, and today WebRTC-based MCUs are really cheap. In fact, there are lots of solutions that are open source, and we are using this type of solutions. So it's a smart way to add multi-conferencing capabilities to your existing platform. Remember, with compliance to all the national regulation that you have in your countries. Okay. So moving to the second part, and now we are moving to customer care, from internal communications to customer care. And first, we are going to explore how new collaboration tools, which is the state of the art of the technology in terms of collaboration. So remember, by collaboration, we understand screen sharing, mutual navigation, co-browsing, this type of tools. Okay. And first, just to make two examples of how to integrate this. First, imagine you are a customer, you have dialed the telephone number of the bank, and you are talking with an agent of the telephone of the bank. When you have this call, the agent can send an SMS to you with something similar to what you have in front of you now in this slide, just with a link. And clicking in this link, while you keep this voice call, you can probably share your front camera, just to have a face-to-face session, your rear camera in case you want to share something that you have in front of you, or just to share documents, to get some signatures, any type of collaboration that you can imagine, but really easy to integrate, okay, because you are going to keep the voice call. And this slide is more hard to understand, but basically imagine that you are not receiving a call from the PSTN. In this case, is the customer the one that has clicked in a button in the electronic banking application, the website of the bank, for instance, and clicking this button first. Well, we launch a WebRTC call that, using this gateway, we adapt into a SIP-based call that reaches your contact center platform. And imagine that you have Avaya here. Using the soft phone that you have connected with Avaya, you are going to have the voice call, and the agent, well, the Avaya is going to select which is the agent that is available and should answer this call. all the intelligence is here. And when you have this call established, we can make an automatic call, a second call, just for video collaboration, okay, to the browser of the agent. No, and this is nice because you can have your voice call here, but with no need to make any change here. Keeping your existing platform, keeping your existing rules. You can add collaboration, add video or collaboration. That is what we are exploring in this part, to the browser of the agent. And here with collaboration, you can make screen sharing, co-browsing, or whatever. We are going to explore now some use cases, and here is the first one. The first one is related with browser assistance. By browser assistance, we understand the possibility to navigate together, customer and agent, through the web, through the same website. And here the idea is the customer, the one, the user, the one that is sharing the screen with the agent. The agent has in front of him, in front of her, the same information, the same screen that the user has, but the agent has also the possibility, the tool, to draw on top of the screen of the user. So the idea is to use this type of circles, this type of arrows, to help the customer to identify which is the part, the information that is missing in case of a form, or to clicking a button, just drawing an arrow to mark which is the button that you should click, to help the customer to navigate through the website. Okay, so this is a use case that's working pretty well. This is working for web browsers, but it's also working for banking apps. Here we have the possibility to add a component, a WebRTC component, to the existing application of the bank. So you can get an additional tool, in this case like contact agent. Imagine just clicking there, the agent knows who you are, the agent knows that you are using your smartphone, the agent knows what you have in front of you, which is the problem that you have, as contextual information, even before answering the call. And this is nice because it's going to reduce the time that is needed to provide support in any type of situation where the customer is demanding help. So moving to the slides is different to the previous one related with browser assistance, but it looks similar because the idea here is to use a yellow market to draw on top of a document. Here we want to talk about PDFs, image, or any type of document that you are sharing with your customer. You can draw on top of this document, and you can help the customer to understand the information that he has in front of him. So the idea here is something that we built in the past for bill review. So imagine a utility company is sending bills each month, or a telco. If you have any question, just clicking the button, the agent can draw on top. He knows which is the document that you have in front of you, and the agent can draw on top of the document. But can be used for any type of application related with banks when your customer has a document in front of him. Another possibility is to adapt this type of collaboration, this type of possibilities to existing actions of the bank. Imagine that you have a customer not at home, you have the customer in the bank, but waiting, and you have a huge queue in your bank, and you are adding, or you have the possibility to use kiosks. With these elements, you can provide support. These elements owns a browser, and you can allow the customer to make any type of operation, but in any case, you have the possibility to make a voice, video call, or collaboration, using this element. And something similar with the ATMs. Sometimes it's harder because it's not all the ATMs have a camera or a microphone or speakers, but in any case, all of them typically have a browser. No? So the idea to use the browser, all these browsers are supporting WebRTC, is really easy to add this type of features where a customer can talk with the agent of the bank. Really easy, and to get support in any kinds of question or whatever. So, and finally, basically, another possibility is to add these features just for premium banking. So the idea here is to provide support, special support for those customers, premium users, that want to get in contact with a personal agent, but also with an expert. And in this smart session with 2, 3, 4 people, you can share documents, you can share screens, you can draw on top, you have whiteboards, you can record everything, and to provide this type of additional quality, okay, to your premium customers. So this is all in terms of the second section. I'm moving to the last one, and it's called ID verification and fraud prevention. This is popular because you probably hear about our experience working with different banks on this. I would like just to bring some ideas, okay, about what's possible using WebRTC. And here is not only collaboration, the critical point is video, okay, to have a video call. And imagine that you are in a critical operation. Well, your customer is trying to transfer a huge amount of money to another bank, and you can have always this possibility. To get the approval, not only ask to some coordinate to some codes, numbers that you have in a card, to ask the customer to have a video section, to have a video call with an agent. This video call is going to be recorded. The agent can check the face of the user with the picture that you have already stored. This is opening new possibilities. This is valid for any type of strange operation, any type of suspicious operation that includes money laundering, counter-financial operation, whatever. Okay, you can get an incoming call, a video call as a customer, so the agent can make a call to you, okay? And you need to accept in order to close or continue with operation. Another possibility is to activate cards. So the idea is you have a credit card, you don't need to go to the branch of the bank to get the card working. And imagine just showing the credit card to the camera, showing your ID card, your passport, making a video call with the agent. The agent is going to ask you with some personal information, okay, because she wants to know who you are, and she wants to say this to the camera, because this is going to be recorded and can be used in any type of problem that you have in the future. And this is a smart way to, in not more than 2 minutes, to get your credit card verified. And finally, this is the last one, is related to customer onboarding. This depends on the country, but at least in Western Europe was really popular since 2016. Today it's possible in lots of countries. I think that's close to 50 countries, to open a bank account in the bank as a new customer with no need to go physically to the bank. And it's something that is possible just making a video call with the agent. The bank has no records about you, but they can ask you to show your ID card to the camera. They're going to check that the ID card is valid. Okay? They're going to make some questions. If you give access to your personal information, they want to ask you to say your name to the camera, and everything is going to be recorded. And the important here is that these recordings should be available by the regulators, and this is a legal proof any type of problem that you have in the future, again with money laundering or any type of problem that you have with a new customer. This is all in terms of the contents of the webinar. Remember that the recordings are going to be available soon. I hope to have this video uploaded to YouTube, in your YouTube channel today. As soon as we have this video recording available, we will send the link to all the registrants in the webinar, together with the slides of the webinar. I hope you have a nice day, and thanks for being here.